Episode 5.
Broadcasting live from Pleb Talk Studios.
In downtown Manhattan, we have here presenting to you Shawn and Asael, starring in Pleb Talk, Episode 5. Now live. Hope you enjoy. If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. Sit down, grab your favorite drink, cocktail if you're over 21. If not, favorite Capri Sun flavor or Gatorade. Cross your legs, put a pillow behind your head, and think about what we're saying. And let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
If you're tuning in once again, then welcome back. Welcome back. Today, I am wearing a Sweden. I have no idea what year it is. Maybe 16 to 17, something like that. Jersey, home, and no name. And I really like this one because you don't really see too many Sweden jerseys around.
No, you don't. Unless it's Ibrahimovic. But
Exactly.
yeah. All right, and if you're new to the podcast, we like to start off with a beer, and what we're drinking today is a Real Ale Brewing Company called Real Heavy. It's a Scotch ale, never had it before, 9.3%. It's a heavy hitter. I'm pretty sure it's going to live up to its name.
9.3.
Yeah.
Like, just when I thought I'd be like, okay, we've already done a lot of like over 6%, so we should stick to like 4s and 5s.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Yeah, you keep on going high. And this is actually the same company from the last episode, correct?
Yeah. I saw this one, and the name got me. Real Heavy.
Yeah, and it's, if you aren't watching it, it's how big is this?
It's 22 ounces.
22 ounces, so it's almost like 2 beers.
Basically, I think that's an American pint. An American pint, yes, 22.
And we do aim to have at least 2 of these beers per episode, so it's gonna get funky by the end. Now, Shawn,
yes,
out of all the men in the world, why would you rather have me kiss your forehead than anyone else?
Oh, where did you get that insinuation from?
I was thinking about it as I was putting the jersey on.
Because I can name 3 men at the top of my head that I'd rather have kissed my forehead.
Who?
Putting me on the spot here.
I mean, you said 3, like, you pretty confidently, so I just thought you could just conjure them up.
I did say that.
Robert Lewandowski.
John Travolta.
John Travolta?
I don't know. I just threw that in there.
John Travolta? I didn't know you were a big fan.
No, I'm not. Actually, I mean, he was pretty good in a few movies. But I would say, got to give it to my favorite player of all time, Miroslav Klose.
Okay.
Hey man, I'm drawing blanks here.
The lead saxophone player for the Dirty River
Dixie Band.
Band.
Dirty River Dirty Band.
Dirty Boys in the band playing jazz.
I mean, is that even a guy? I don't really know. Is it?
I don't think there's any women playing in that band.
You never know.
If I remember correctly.
You never know.
We'll be seeing them pretty soon.
Yeah, I do want to do that. We did see them twice.
Yeah.
If you remember twice.
Yeah.
I remember the first time was a little special.
Yeah.
Or I mean, we're having some barbecue. They just were doing their thing, and it was definitely a vibe.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Second time we went to this jazz club bar.
Yeah.
And they were just as great then. So
they're pretty good, but they were missing a few instruments because remember it was a smaller venue.
Yeah.
And the outdoor barbecue place was a bigger venue. They had like the full setup and everything, and it was they were
jazz. Something about jazz just touches your soul.
Yeah, and definitely.
I don't think there's any music genre just quite like it, because it's so like subjective as well, but at the same time it's like very objective. But regardless of what like perspective you're listening it from, like I think you can enjoy it. It's kind of one of those genres that you just can't really go wrong with, no matter who or what you listen to. I love that stuff. Now,
hey man, I don't mean to interrupt you, but cheers up.
Cheers. Yes, I was gonna take a sip while you were talking, but I was like, no, I gotta do a cheers. Okay. You're hesitating.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. It starts off very easy, and you kind of get this kind of carbonation at the end. You taste that?
It's
some carbonation and something else. I need another sip.
Yeah. It's kind of unfiltered. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of is it fruity? Is that a good description?
I'm not really tasting fruity.
Like it's kind of like easy. Like there's no like real weedy flavor that's
It's
popping
not real
out.
weedy. Almost sweet.
Okay, fruity sweet.
I wouldn't call it fruity, but yeah. Yes, I'll call it sweet.
Oh,
Not too sweet, not overpowering sweet, but just not really your typical beer flavor.
Exactly, Scotch ale. This might be one.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't not like it.
Okay.
I mean, what about you?
I was thinking about this today. Like we always like compliment every single beer that we've had. Like every beer we've had, like oh yeah.
I mean, that's because I've been picking some bangers.
And we have been drinking some bangers.
So actually, funny about that. I actually picked another beer.
Yes.
And actually, I picked a wild card beer. And it looked very, very interesting.
Okay.
It was $15 a bottle. So I thought this might be some like crazy wild stuff.
That's the smaller one that you have?
What's that?
That smaller...
No, it's not. It's a different one. I was actually going to use it for this podcast.
Okay.
But instead I tried it myself.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and it was the worst $15 I've ever spent in my life.
Yeah, with beer, you don't really want to get too extravagant with it, Like, you just kind of want to keep it simple with it. And for $15, what was the type of beer?
It was a stout.
Oh, okay, yeah, stouts.
Yeah.
Guinness, and that's kind of as far as I go with stouts. And even Guinness, like sometimes...
Even Guinness, I'll be honest, Guinness is too much for me.
You have to be in the right mood for it. You can't just casually pop it open and try to enjoy it. You gotta be in the right mood for it. 100%.
For the beer boys out there,
yes,
and girls,
yes.
Just want to say you don't really taste the 9%.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Yeah,
I will give you that.
Don't taste
if you said 6, 7, I'd believe you. 9 is
9.3.
But I guess if you're trying to get messed up real quick, this might be a good start.
It might be, yeah.
Because if you don't really taste all 9. Usually when you have anything over, like I said,
anything over 7, you're kind of like,
I don't. You really sip it, but this one you can maybe chug. Let's get into it. So
yeah, first topic of the night.
Well, not quite yet.
Okay.
I was thinking we had this conversation before, and it's kind of a. It's a question about getting to know people. What is the best way to get to know somebody, right? So, everybody meets people, of course. And for me, whenever I'm trying to get to really, really know them,
yep.
One of my first questions always is, what type of music do you like?
I knew it. How did I know?
Yeah. What type of music do you like, right? And this is a good start, actually. So, depending on the answer, will give you a really good sense of the person, right? So I'm a victim of this, and I'm gonna stop doing this because I had this thought, and I shared it with you already. A lot of people, like I said, I'm guilty of this. Say something along the lines of, "I like all music," right?
Yeah, anything.
Or anything. Or
anything except fill in the blank.
Exactly, anything except fill in the blank. In my case, I say country, right? So anything except for country. Now, that's a very safe answer. Like, if it's a very casual relationship you're having with like a coworker, a friend, family member or something, it's simple. You can't go wrong with it, right? But I must stray away from doing this because I feel that any other answer, when you go into a genre, if you go into a band, song name, really gives more personality to the person you're meeting. So, say if I met somebody, hey, what type of music are you into right now? Or into in general, and they said something like Cortex.
Yeah.
If they say something like
Cortex, I love me some Cortex.
Then you're in for something. Like you're getting a personality. You're actually talking to somebody that kind of goes through life in their own way and somehow has this. It doesn't have to even be a band or a genre that you like per se, but rather because of the answer that they gave you, you're already like one step ahead in getting to know this person. So Cortex. I know Shawn knows this band.
Yeah, you were stunned because I remember you were playing it in your car,
I
was like, Cortex, huh?
Exactly.
And you're like, what the?
I was like, how do you know Cortex?
Yeah.
And it's a good start for music, and honestly, whatever, you get into it yourself and learn what do you think about Cortex. But when you say an answer like that, it's kind of like not mainstream, but also, well, they have very famous songs, so I guess we can start with that. But also, it's just not a band that someone would say. Someone might say something like, what's popular right now? The Weeknd. okay, well, I'm not the biggest Weeknd fan, but thank you for giving me like a more precise answer rather than saying hip hop, rap, or something like that. And I gotta say, by golly, next time you meet somebody, and it doesn't have to be like a relationship, it could be a friend, it could be like I said, anything, coworker, try to give them a better answer. It doesn't have to be music. What if it's something like, what's your favorite sport? Okay, get interested. Yeah, I like football, baseball. Don't name 5 of them. Be like, okay, I like soccer because I just like how technical and how strategic the lineups are and the positioning and how all that works. Like, okay, that's a pretty damn good answer.
In depth, yeah.
Get into that. Another thing, and any comments on that, on music? What do you think? What do you say when people ask you? What type of, I feel like you'd give that anything but country answer.
I say anything,
yes.
not because whatever, but mainly because it's like
you really don't care.
I really don't care because the odds of me talking to that person ever again are pretty slim. So I mean, I'm just gonna say whatever to get through the conversation.
That, and also you probably don't think that person asking you really cares. Like if you said something like Rage Against the Machine, this guy, okay, that's cool and all, but all right, man, I really didn't want to know that. That's a good point. But for the sake of putting yourself and giving character to yourself in a matter of minutes when knowing or meeting somebody, give them a good answer. Get into what's on your Spotify, your iTunes. Like, go on that list and be like, okay, the last one I searched up and I've been really listening to a lot right now is Metallica. That's a lot more mainstream band, but that's a very more honest answer than saying I'm into like metal right now. You can go anywhere with metal. You can go anywhere with hip hop. You can go anywhere with soul. Genres and timelines and stuff like that. So give them a good answer. That's all I'm saying. Another thing, how to get to know somebody faster, or really more than having a conversation with them. We talked about this before. 2 things: how they keep their car clean.
Oh yeah.
And how they drive.
Oh. Yeah, the driving thing's huge.
Yes.
The driving thing is huge. Oh man.
So
don't get me started.
Do they know where they're going? How fast are they driving to the speed limit? Or how slow are they driving? Are they on the left lane really needing to be on the right lane type of thing?
How late do they do they start merging into the exit before the exit?
Yes. How jerky are they with the steering wheel?
Yeah.
On a turn?
Did they ever check their blind spot?
Did you check the blind spot?
I am so picky with people driving me.
Yeah.
I don't allow it. I very, very, very rarely allow it.
I agree. I'm the same way. For
more reasons than one. One, I believe that I'm the best driver.
Retweet.
I mean, not to be egotistical, but I believe anyone's going to be in the control of the car. There's no better hands than my own.
That, and also if I was going to get into an accident, I'd rather it be under my conditions.
Exactly. Not only under my conditions, but just the whole egotistical thing, I think is what it is. I would think if somebody else is driving and they got in the accident, I would think, man, there's no way this would have happened under my, in my hands. This would have never happened. Yes. I would have been able to get us out of this.
Yes. And I'd rather get that thought out of my mind when I got into an accident. Like, I would hate, man, I'd still have my freaking left arm if I was driving. Mm-hmm. And another thing is, it's funny, I've also talked to you about this, is how whenever you're driving, the passengers have no control whatsoever as to what's happening in the car.
Yes.
So if the driver is driving real jerky, as I'm saying, real on like in the moment, like I got to turn now, or I forgot my exit or whatever, or I got to do this left turn now. The passenger's literally like a rag doll.
Can we talk about the time whenever you pulled out and I was a passenger?
Pulled out? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you know
recently?
Exactly.
Recently?
No, not recently.
Okay, not the pothole one.
The tacos one.
The tacos one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We went to go get some tacos. You were driving, and you said you didn't know how to turn off the traction control in the Mercedes, and I was like, oh, well, all you gotta do is this.
Yes, it was raining. I think earlier.
I don't think it was raining.
It was a little wet.
I don't think it was raining.
It wasn't raining when I was pulling out.
He's making excuses. He's making excuses.
I think it's been a couple years, but
I got it. All right,
Go ahead.
So He drove me, which was first mistake. All right, like I said, I almost never allow people to drive me. He drove me. I was in the passenger seat. He wasn't sure how to turn off the traction control at the time. I showed him how to do it. He's like, okay, yeah. So right when we pull out of the parking lot, I'm just like, hey, yeah, just trial it, gun it, see what happens.
Yeah, that was probably your mistake. But yeah.
I thought you knew what was gonna happen. This guy guns it out of the parking lot, turns into the lane, doesn't counter steer because like whenever you're punching it, the tires are basically burning in the back. They're just nonstop, so they're basically going to be going in the direction of where you're pointing the steering wheel. Yeah. So if you're punching it, pedal to the floor, you have to turn the opposite direction to like catch the car.
Yeah.
We ended up in the oncoming traffic lane.
No.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. No. Yeah, we did.
We ended up...
And you started steering that thing like it was the Titanic about to hit the dang iceberg.
The closest thing we got to like hitting something was the curb. My rear tires on the curb.
Dude, we were in the oncoming traffic lane.
No way.
I can guarantee that I remember.
No way. Maybe the middle lane. I think there was a middle lane.
We were definitely across the middle lane.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the middle lane. There was no like emergency to it. It's just that
there was an emergency. Man. There was a car coming. Man, he was freaked out just as much as I was.
Nah,
I was shell shocked. I was just like,
it's just I wasn't able to catch it. Another thing, I have a very long car, and I've never really attempted to drift or swing it. Yeah, so I was, and actually that like I said, that ESP, that traction control, like I've never turned it off. So it was the first time, and like I said, the road was a little wet. It was a little wet.
I don't remember being wet. But
man, I didn't hit anything. I didn't hit anyone. It's just that as soon as I realigned the car and got back onto the lane, Shawn just goes ahead without saying anything and turns on the traction control. Which I thought that was the funniest thing. Like he didn't even have to like say anything or ask me. He's like, nope, that's it. That's it right there. And that was the funniest thing. But that tells something about that person's character, right? With cars, I'm not too, with my driving at least, I'm not too like out there with it. I'm not gonna be like flooring it at a red light. I mean, at a green light. I'm not gonna be, if I'm doing a turnaround, I'm not gonna like just pop it real quick. With my older car, I do it sometimes just because there's no traction control, there's nothing like that ESP. So I do it sometimes. But what we're trying to get at is that if you drive with somebody or if you sit in someone's car and have them drive you, I think that you can almost tell more by the way they drive about that person's character or personality than maybe like a 25-minute conversation with them. I think like really, really know the person. Really, are they kind of conservative? Are they real? They play to the rules.
Yeah.
Are they safe? Seatbelts on? Are they making sure you have your seatbelt? Are they maybe kind of like a daredevil? Maybe they see a little spot to merge into a different lane that you might have hesitated on.
You are no longer the racing driver if you don't go for the gap.
Arden Senna. So
yeah,
so I think that there's so many ways. It's interesting because I really like this conversation because it's so psychological, right? Like, how can you get to really know somebody? Okay, drive with them, see how clean their car is. Do they, or maybe even the room? I guess you can go as far as the room. Do they have a clean room? Are they chaotic? Maybe they have like stuff all over the place. Oh, where did I leave my charger? Where did I leave this? Where did I leave that?
I lost this, lost that. Yeah.
And then music as well. Like, what type of music do you listen to? The music was a little off. I think not quite there yet, but definitely the driving and how clean they keep their car or room. Yeah. I think really talks to
which actually kind of plays into what I wanted to get in today.
Yes.
So what I wanted to get into today was I want to hear your take on the future of cars.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So where do you think the future of cars is going, other than autonomous driving?
Okay. So
I mean,
today in 2021, December 2021.
Yeah.
We are. I don't know how to the extent that Tesla is automated. Yeah. To what extent is it? Is it just like big cities right now?
I think it's everywhere. It's just the only thing is I think you have to like at some point. I think it's like every 5 minutes you have to put your hands on the steering wheel or something like that, to where like the computer like the car knows that you're paying attention.
Okay. Are you referring more to the whole manual and automatic, and then?
That's another subtopic in its own thing that we can get into. But I'm just saying for you, where do you think the future of cars is going?
So the future of cars, I think manuals are definitely become rarer and rarer. Yeah. Because when they first came out,
which is weird because still in Europe, it's still the number one.
Really, number one?
It's still the number one transmission is manual.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I know all the taxis I got into were probably manual, but I don't know if about personal vehicles.
Yeah, I know you've been to Europe. I don't know if you ever did it, but whenever I went to Europe, one of my just intuitions was when I saw a huge line of cars parked on the side of the road, I would look inside the window to see if it was manual, and it was like 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 were manuals.
I did see a lot, but also, I guess it depends on like big cities and small cities, I suppose. I'll be surprised if that's true. I would be surprised if that's true. We'll look into that later. Mm-hmm. I do think that I think automatics will obviously eventually become the number one in all countries, if they haven't already. Besides that, I don't know if we're gonna go into electrics though. I don't know. Really? It's such a I know, but it's
see. This is the crazy thing about cars. Well, this is what strikes me about it is. Way back in the day in the 20s or 10s, whenever the Model T came out, or whenever the first real car, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know when it started, but
like 1890s or something. Yeah.
Well, when it started, as in like
mass produced.
In this direction that I'm about to lead to. Okay. Because I know it started with the Model T or something, but what I'm saying is, how the hell did someone figure out, let's pour this black mucky liquid in this car. And it's gonna run
oil.
Yeah, oil.
Okay, I guess.
How did we figure that out? That it was, gasoline. This is what's gonna run the car.
See, that's
not Coca-Cola. Not just water. Imagine if it was water.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, we probably run out of water by now. And I'm just kidding.
Who knows? I don't know. But how does someone figure that out?
So it's an easy answer, but I see what you're saying. It's an easy answer because of the locomotives, the steamboats. Surely they have some sort of.
But that's steam. Steam is water, isn't it?
Well, they run on steam, but I'm sure they have some parts that need oiled.
I thought it was coal.
Well, that's to run it, like gasoline.
Okay.
But I'm sure they have some. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a steamboat.
I thought you said it was an easy answer.
Well, it's an easy answer, as in like there's already like trains before that. There was already trains before cars, so I'm sure they had some parts that needed oiled, like mechanical parts. Surely, right? Even on steamboats, although they use water or steam to run, I'm sure they had some mechanical parts, the engine or I don't know, brakes or something, I don't know, that might have needed oil to be lubricated as it's used. So I think it's quite an easy answer, but I think it's a hard answer to answer when you come to the very first one that was used with oil. So it's like, why did they come to oil? Why not water? Maybe. Well, I mean, water is not very lubricating though, so I'm sure there's obviously. I'm
not talking about lubrication. I'm just talking about just straight up as the fuel source.
Oh, fuel source. Are we talking about gasoline or
as the fuel source? The gasoline.
Okay, I thought you were talking about oil.
No. I'm just talking about the fuel source.
Oh, okay, fuel source. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Obviously steamboats were using water. Coal was for the trains.
Yeah, I mean, how does someone figure it out? Let's just throw this gasoline in there. It's gonna go.
Trial and error, surely. That's the answer. That probably is the answer. Trial and error. I'm sure they probably tried water. It just wasn't, lasting. There's no energy to water. There's no substance in water. So obviously gasoline or petroleum is what I'm trying to say is definitely has some sort of properties to it where it's like you can get some energy off of this. Surely.
Imagine where the world would be if someone figured out how to do it with like Coca-Cola. Piss. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh man,
sweat.
It smelled bad. Sweat. Oh, yeah. You gotta run to run your car. That would be. Yeah. Everybody would have a six-pack for sure. Her would rip.
Oh, yeah.
But it smelled pretty bad, I think.
It's kind of like, I don't know how someone figured out either too, but I think it's the horseshoe crab.
Horseshoe crab.
Yeah, you know what the horseshoe crab?
No. Talk to us.
So, the horseshoe crab...
crab or crap?
Crab.
Oh, I said crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Crab. The sea monster.
Yeah, do you know about the horseshoe crab? So the horseshoe crab, it's pretty special in the world of medicine.
Okay.
And I might at the end just remember, everybody, I am a pleb.
Okay. Yeah.
So fact check me on this.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure most medicines rely on the blood of the horseshoe crab because something is special about its like hemoglobin properties. that it's only found in this specific crab, and most of the horseshoe crabs in the world are literally just taken and farmed and just hooked up to like an IV and basically just get their blood sucked out.
No way.
For like their like entire life or something like that. Because like it's so pivotal to medicine.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, how the hell does someone figure that out?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, this blood is special. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? It probably is something like this. That there's something that the crab does throughout their lives that may like regenerate some sort of body part or something like that. That scientists were like, okay, how does this animal do that, and how can we replicate that? So I'm sure the blood was a key to that. I don't know. I'm a pleb. I don't
think they regenerate anything. They're actually not even a crab,
or whatever the hemoglobin part that they do throughout their lives. We just extracted that and attempted.
Well, their blood is blue, so it's maybe a
blue.
Yeah, it is actually blue.
They just use that oxygen or something, or
I don't know, but their blood is blue.
Okay, so we're plebs. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're plebs. So
look at the
horseshoe crab.
Horseshoe crab, not the crab. What do you think the future of automotives is going to be in 50 years? Yeah,
I wanted to come back to that. So I think the future of cars and automotives is, at the end of the day, I don't know how many years it is going to be in the future, but basically cars are going to be a thing of the past. And I think they're just going to be objects that resemble taxis. You get in, you plug in the destination, and it just goes.
Automated.
Completely automated.
Okay. So you're not like referring to like public transportation is going to take over or anything like that?
No. Well, I think eventually public transportation is going to be completely ousted.
As well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be completely ousted. I mean, maybe... I don't want to... Maybe for like lesser income families, maybe it still might be around.
Oh wow! So it's like a pleb thing.
Yeah, like oh, you take public transportation, like why don't you just got the
Well, that's kind of what it is now in the United States, at least. I know in Europe
the United
is a lot
States,
more like normal.
I don't understand. I don't understand it. I really don't understand how in America, taking I know taking the bus, it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
And in Europe, you take the bus, it's pretty damn convenient. It goes and it will drop you off within a mile of where you want to go.
Exactly.
And the difference of Europe and the U.S. is I was actually reading an article about this on this one family from Europe whenever they moved to Philadelphia, I think it was, and they took the bus somewhere. No, they didn't take the bus somewhere. They wanted to walk to the grocery store, which was like a mile away. Okay. Which a mile in Europe is nothing. It's easy. It's easy. There's a lot of eye candy. Yeah. It's easy to walk. That's the thing. So the way this family coined it was in Europe, you're walking, everything is fine.
Yes.
I mean, the sidewalks, I mean, they're made for walking, everything.
Yeah.
But in America, whenever you're walking, it feels like you are impeding on the car's like ground. Basically, when in Europe, it's like the cars are impeding on like the walking person's ground.
Yes.
So it's just a shame how civil engineering or the architecture is, and that's just the American way.
Yeah.
That if you don't have a car, you're not going to get anywhere.
That's true. That is true.
You're really not going to get anywhere.
Like 100%. I mean, I'm thinking about big cities that I've been to in the United States. And it's like Ubering. You have to get the even the scooters that you have to
Lime.
The limes or the bikes or whatever. Like having that form of transportation is so key. Mm-hmm. I've yet to be visiting a city where it's like you can do walking distance to almost everything. Chicago might be the closest one, but even then, you getting a lime or a bike is just so much easier. Whereas in Europe, oh man, Airbnbs are like downtown. Like downtown walking distance, and if you get a lime, it's just for fun. It's just to see more, I guess.
Sure.
And oh man, the stories we have for that. But I do agree. And also, when I was in London, like we were only there for a day, but we used the metro, or what do they call it over there? The underground.
Right.
The underground quite often. It was like almost everywhere we went, it was just underground, and we had like the day pass or something, so it was like very convenient. Just jump in, hop out, and you're at the castle or the what is it called, the Parliament.
I'm saying to you, I love trains. I love trains. I love.
But we're talking
rail.
about subways though. We're talking about like underground. We're talking
that's
about.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, I basically consider subways and trains basically the same thing because they basically do the same thing.
When I think of trains, I'm thinking like travel to city or country to country in Europe.
Okay.
When I think of subways, it's just quick within the city, just jumping out. But you're right; they're both the same machine basically. I will say that. Do you think so? Elon Musk has this other company called the Boring Company where they just kind of do like random stuff, but they have a big budget because it's Elon Musk,
huge,
obviously.
Yeah.
So
most notable, the flamethrower.
Yes. Yeah. I believe in Los Angeles, they are
they're doing the underground.
Attempting to do, or they're doing it. I think they're doing it.
They already did it. They already built it in Las Vegas, I want to say.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. This underground passage for vehicles. So it's like within your own vehicle, you are dropped down some 1,000 or hundreds or dozens feet underground.
I don't think it's very deep.
You don't think it's very deep?
I don't think it's very deep.
It's maybe like 50 feet underground.
Which, weirdly enough, just fun fact out there, I think North Korea actually has the deepest subway system. It's 1 kilometer deep.
We'll talk about North Korea for that second topic.
Okay, yeah.
But, so they have this passage system where you are dropped underground within your vehicle. I mean, you don't have to step out of your vehicle, and like from a regular street, like downtown, you're dropped into this like subway system, but it's within your own vehicle. You land on this like cart or this platform that within that platform, it'll take you to your next stop.
All right,
and then it'll pop you back up onto public roads, and you're off to go. So I saw this video.
I actually think he's gonna regret this.
He's gonna regret this.
Yeah, and I'll get into it here in a little bit.
Yes,
but I think he's gonna regret it. But keep going.
I saw this video of how it worked, and I was looking at the comments. I was like, okay, that's a good idea. It's a good start. I think that he's got the right idea. But one of the comments I said is like, okay, so basically, you're meeting at this location. We can call it a station, as he said, which you're then dropped down on this railroad type of platform mechanic that then takes you to this location, which is basically a subway.
Yeah.
So why not just use your public transportation? Why not invest more money into public transportation rather than just buses? And I'm talking like underground stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's honestly the truth. That is the truth. What he's doing is great.
But I think he's gonna regret it.
But that's basically what a subway is.
It is. It is, but you're missing the point of a subway.
Yes.
Subway's mass transit.
Yes.
This isn't mass transit.
No.
It's basically, I don't want to say it's impeding on mass transit because, I mean, at that point, why not just build mass transit?
That's what I'm saying.
Why not just build mass transit?
Or invest more money into it, yes.
Yeah, you're basically taking away from it.
Yes.
And this is why I think he's going to regret it. I feel like he's trying to alleviate traffic problems this way, which I think is great.
Yes.
But I feel like there's been so much progress towards automated vehicles, and look, I know we're years, decades. Like let's be real, we're probably decades away from it. But I feel like the way car technology and LiDAR and basically AI machine learning is going.
Yes.
I see that cars are literally just going to be boxes, or basically a room, basically like a small living room, where 6 people, 8 people can comfortably, stand, conduct business. Basically just maybe a computer in there. I see it more as an efficiency improvement,
like a space.
Yeah, basically just another room that you can get into. You plug in the destination, and it's gonna be it's just gonna go. And while it goes, you can just conduct business as usual, play games, do whatever, and all these other cars are gonna be doing the exact same thing because everything is completely automated.
So let me ask you this.
Well, one sec.
Yeah.
Human error is gonna become completely out of the equation. And things are just going to move so smoothly that, I mean, it's basically, I feel like, the real true car person is gonna absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I already do.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. This is a good question. I'm glad we're at this point. From what you told me right now, just on this pleb mind that I have, I thought of two positives that this brings.
Okay.
And they're pretty good. One, time. So you said, like an office space, like what you can conduct deals, or if you're just being lame, you can play video games. That's time, which is for us humans is very important. Time is one of the most expensive things on our lives.
You can't put a price on it.
So you can't put a price on time. So the way you're illustrating the future of vehicles would save us on time.
Yep.
2, I forgot the second one.
That 9.3% hitting you, huh?
Yeah, that 9 point something percent is hitting me. Time,
efficiency, convenience.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I guess convenience. I suppose convenience, but more importantly is human error. So human error means
that's what I said. Completely out of the equation.
You mean pain. You mean death. You mean accidents. You mean time.
Imagine this. I think in the transition period, of going from cars that are driven by humans.
Yes.
And these automated taxis, basically, is what they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very pivotal step into getting to that.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's going to see how these machines are going to be able to react to, humans being humans.
Yeah.
Texting and driving, being on a cell phone, calling someone, falling asleep.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a very pivotal step. And I feel like if there's going to be no accidents in that regard, that it's going to move. It's going to basically be a seamless transition, and governments are going to, make it a law saying no more human driving. This is the way.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be
lives, so that's my question. So you're saving two things there: human error, which is accidents, lives, and time, versus the romantic-esque feeling of driving a vehicle, having some sort of analog feeling and connection with the vehicle.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of the trade-off. I know you're an enthusiast when it comes to driving and vehicles.
Yes, absolutely.
But I just put two very good points against your love of driving. What are you saying?
I mean, it's like anything. It could be a hobby. And when it gets to that point, think about what it's going to do to the price of manuals.
It's going to shoot them up?
The price of manuals in sports cars. Yeah. They're going to be basically I don't want to say a glorified dinosaur, but they're going to be dinosaurs that car enthusiasts are going to want. Yeah. Think about the price of these icons of car enthusiasts, Skyline R34s, RX-7s, basically any Japanese 90s car is basically an icon at this point.
Yeah.
And
how do you feel about that?
What do you mean?
Okay, so let's put a price. Let's say RX-7. How much does one go for right now in 2020?
Like a mint condition?
Yeah, you can drive it. It's not perfect. It's not like
if it's not perfect.
20.
If it's not perfect, yeah, you could probably get it for 20.
So what 30. Do you think that price would be after it's we're talking about 2070?
I think they're gonna go through the roof.
Like 100. 20? We're talking about an RX-7. We're not talking about no
Ferrari. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe like 50 grand, 60 grand.
Wow, so about almost 3 times. Yeah. As a pleb talk, or as a pleb number. That's crazy to think of. So we're also...
thinking about, the American favorite, the Corvette. Because, most Corvettes are made in manuals. Well, I don't know about most, but, a good amount of Corvettes are made in manuals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I believe the top level trim is actually only available in a manual.
Really? Okay, was it the Stingray?
Like the ZR1, ZL1 or something like that edition. I'm not too big on Corvettes, so don't quote me.
So that's crazy to think about, because companies like Bugatti, Koenigsegg, Ferrari, Lamborghini, regardless if they're automatic or manual, they're
purely automatic.
They're all? Okay, well, dual
flappy
clutch.
Yeah, dual clutch.
Shifters or
powder
whatever.
shifter.
I think those will go bankrupt. I think those companies will go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because first of all, the price will shoot up about 3 times as well.
Yeah.
As if they weren't already expensive enough. Mm-hmm. And it becomes such like a Sunday drive car that...
I see them as going I'm sorry, keep going.
They'd just be such a Sunday drive car that's like, okay, yeah, I could get I mean, why aim for a Ferrari when I can just go ahead and get myself a 2015 manual Mustang for my Sunday drive when all cars are just automated? You know,
what do you think it's going to do to racing?
What was that?
What do you think it's going to do to racing? Like, Super GT.
I think racing will stay the same.
Really?
I think racing will stay the same just because it's a sport. It's not so much of like a luxury.
Okay.
But it's a sport. So like with sports, you're able to have limitations on normal life, like soccer. Instead of using your hands, you just use your legs. So it's a limitation as to a human that you just have for the sake of the sport. So I think sports might stay the same, unless sports are trying to be like a little bit more green, kind of like Formula One is, as far as like what they're trying to go back to like V4s now.
This is the thing about Formula One. If you are interested in Formula One, they're actually trying to make it more electric.
Yeah, so hybrids,
Yeah, they're trying to make it more electric. Actually, with this new rule change, they're trying to tone back the electric component until 2026.
Okay.
And the reason why they're trying to go back to more electricity in 2026 is they're trying to get VW/Porsche /Audi.
Yes. / a lot of things.
Yeah, because I mean VW basically owns everybody.
Yeah. Volkswagen.
Yes. But yeah, they're trying to get Porsche and Audi into it, and Porsche/Audi/VW said they would only be interested if there is more of an electrical component into it, because for all the people who don't follow racing, there's many different racing disciplines out there.
Yes.
Super GT, of course, the Americans always know NASCAR, which that's not really racing at the end of the day. What's the American? IndyCar, yes. Formula One, DTM, British Touring Car Championship. The list goes on. Formula D. What is that? V8 supercars down in Australia. At the end of the day, when it comes to racing isn't really about racing. Racing is really the manufacturers trying to eke out every single performance attribute within the rules to where they can trickle it down into their production cars.
Yes.
So the manufacturers, they actually like racing.
Yeah.
Because it forces them to try to innovate in a space that they might not innovate in a production car, and 5-10 years down the road, some of that racing technology that they had 10 years ago, find its way into a production model.
And I think, alluding back to our main topic, I think that sports like those, racing sports, would only ramp up in popularity if all vehicles were automated. Because it'd be something like, oh man, I remember when I heard a car that sounded just like that. There's something nostalgic. I'm sure like in 50 years from now, there'll be something nostalgic about watching racing. Assuming that it stays the same, as in like, V8s and Lamborghinis and stuff like that. Assuming it stays the same, I think there'll be something nostalgic about watching that, and even seeing them live.
Funny you mentioned that.
Yes.
I was going through my pictures today.
Yes.
And the pictures of the Formula One race came up, and man, that was good times.
So we went to the Austin Grand Prix back in October 2021. Sean's first Grand Prix, Formula One Grand Prix.
It was special. Definitely special for me. That was definitely bucket list quality stuff.
And there's something about hearing them. So I know that there was a rule change like in 2015 or 16 where they became V8s, but they used to be V10s. And I can't imagine.
Right now they're not V8s.
Sixes, no?
Yeah, V6.
So, or maybe they're V8s before. But I know that from what I've heard in the forums and videos that they used to sound so. What's the word I'm looking for? Like deep, ballsy.
I wouldn't say deep. I wouldn't say deep.
Because I saw a lot of people with their earbuds and their headphones just trying to preserve their eardrums. It wasn't that bad, and we sat pretty close to where they're going, like I don't know, almost 200 miles per hour on the straights. There was something nostalgic about hearing those cars just roar down the straights, regardless of what track you're at, and just feel that the rumble in the asphalt all the way up to your spine.
It was. I mean, for me, it was one of the most special things.
Yes.
Really, to me. I mean, that was great.
But what was it for you? What was it? Was it seeing them, like those drivers that you've been following for so many years, or just being within the realm or the
Dude, everything.
Yeah.
Everything, and I'm really glad. I mean, I don't know if you did, but I'm really glad you didn't look over at me. Because, man, I was out. I was getting chuffed. I was getting chuffed, man. I was like, man, I got to hold myself together.
But that's what I was wondering why. I was wondering why. What was it that gave it away for you? Like, was it like, seeing like the start? Seeing the start and just having like roll off?
The start, basically, seeing these people that I've been following for years, like as you mentioned. And don't get me, I mean, I don't know how to explain this to non-Formula One watchers.
Yes.
But the start is one of the biggest things. I mean, it's such an exciting moment. And after watching 100, 200 races of Formula One, I could hear the commentators.
Yes.
Even though I'm watching it live, I could almost create my own, commentary in my head about, what he's saying.
Yes.
About, oh, this guy's diving down on the inside. Oh, this guy's taking the long way. I could almost, play by play, make out this fantasy of what's happening to me live in front of me.
Yes.
And
it's very exciting, the start, but also very crucial for the drivers.
Critical.
Critical.
Yeah, absolutely critical. Word.
Yeah. As far as how they lay off the clutch and go into first gear, second gear, and so on. And I think the Austin Grand Prix that we saw live, there was nothing. As far as the start, there was nothing like there was
nothing wild.
There was nothing wild with it. Yeah. I don't think there was any crashes in the first lap.
There was some contact, but it was minor contact.
Yeah, there's no yellow flag or virtual
on the outside
safety car or anything like that. So to wrap up this topic, and before we get another beer, the future of automotive industry.
Yes.
Where is it going?
Kathy Woods. If you're not familiar with Kathy Woods, she is a huge. She's regarded as one of the best investors of our time in the stock market. Yes. She's like the head of ARK Investments. That's really kind of what I based my thought off on. I was listening to her talk a few days ago on CNBC. Yes. She's talking about Tesla, about how really Tesla's really going to be changing the game, about how the current stock price now doesn't reflect what they're really going to be going through. And I'm gonna push back this segue into our next topic.
Yes.
But I forgot to mention. Anyways, let me back to Kathy Woods. She was saying how the current stock price doesn't reflect where Tesla is actually going in the sense of the automotive world, about how really Elon Musk views are going to be towards these automated taxis.
Okay.
And if it does go to this automated taxi route, then what's the point of the underground tunnel system that he's making? What's the point? It seems like a redundant middle step.
Okay. You good?
Yeah, we go ahead. Yeah.
So the whole taxi route, which I agree with, is just so down the line. It's just, we're talking about,
you think so?
Several decades.
I mean, I think with current lighter technology now, I forgot the company's names. There's actually quite a few. What is that space called? It's basically companies that have the eyesight for computers.
Okay.
I know one is Microvision.
Yes.
Another one is the stock is Luminar Technologies.
Okay.
Luminar Technologies actually has the contract with Mercedes and a few other manufacturers. Okay. But I feel like with those kind of companies out there now and where the technology is going, I mean, I don't think it's too far out in the future. I'm not saying 10 years.
I'm thinking 30 or 40 minimum.
Okay, so 30 or 40.
Yes.
Let's just say on a worst case scenario, 50.
Okay.
Let's just say, I mean, it might even be longer than that. Let's just say 50 years.
Sure.
How long do you think it takes to carve out this massive tunnel and this huge infrastructure?
No, not that long.
Surely.
I'm thinking in 5 years that'll be up and running.
No way.
Yeah.
No, wait. Think about the places that they would have to get the okay on for where to start, where to finish, and not only that, think about all the pipes underground that they would have to, relocate.
As far as I know, I think they're just working on Los Angeles right now. As far as I know.
I know for a fact they did Las Vegas.
Okay, so they did Las
From,
Vegas.
like,
It's like up and running, or is it just
to-
like in the works?
No, I know like they actually had prototypes going through it.
Okay. So I think like for a single city, I think like let's say Los Angeles for the sake of argument, I think in 5 years it'll be up and running. I don't know how.
I see it even longer for major cities.
Well, Los Angeles is among the biggest.
Yeah, look at LA. Look at the huge population density.
Yes.
It's basically a concrete jungle.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to displace something where, you basically are going to have to destroy something to make something?
I mean, the way that I saw videos, that it's literally downtown. So yeah, you'll have to do some remodeling.
You're going to have to destroy,
a lot.
Huge physical remodeling project. Not to mention, what kind of remodeling are they going to have to do underground? Think of all the pipes.
So I'm thinking they might go just right under the pipes to avoid all that remodeling you're saying. So I'm thinking
I don't know, man.
I don't know how it works. Like if it's like levels to the pipes, or is it just like under 5,000 or 50 feet? There's nothing under there. I don't know how it is. I'm a pleb, but I'm assuming that they're gonna try their best to avoid all that remodeling that you're saying. I'm assuming. So I'm thinking like in 5 years, if they're really working on it, I don't know, because it's a boring company. So when you hear a boring company making some underground tunnel for your vehicle to travel under, so I'm not taking it very seriously, but they're obviously doing it. So to wrap it up, I think that it might go to that. I just hope that manuals stick around. I hope automatics stick around.
Yep.
I hope the prices of my cars go up, but not the ones that I want go up.
Like I said, man, I think manuals are going to go through the roof eventually.
So keep yours.
Keep mine.
I'll look for mine. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man. Down it.
Down it.
All right. Now that we got the beers out,
yes.
There's a little bit of wild card. This for the second beer.
Yes.
He doesn't know what the other beer is.
Yes.
It was a wild card beer, so we're gonna flip this bottle cap to see who gets which beer.
Yes.
The way we're gonna do it is how are we gonna do it? Do you want the wild card or do you want the real heavy?
No, let's toss it.
What do you mean? Okay, so we'll say. Well, that's the thing. How we can't. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
What do you mean? Let's toss it.
Like let's toss that bottle cap.
Yeah.
And when you grab it, you're gonna hide it, right? And I'm gonna say either tails or head.
Okay.
Tails or head. Tails or tails.
Heads or tails. Yeah.
and if I get it right.
Yeah.
Then I get the oof.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Then I get the. If I get the wild card.
You get the wild. So if you guess it right, you get wild card.
Yeah.
All right.
If I guess it wrong, then I get the. Not that it's a bad beer or anything for that company, but it's just that it's heavy.
Okay. Okay. Let's put it this way.
Yes.
If you get it right, you get wild card.
Yes.
If I get it right, then it's my choice.
Well, if I get it wrong, then you just get the wild card. Then does that make sense? Because you're flipping it, so I don't know what you're getting. I won't see what you're getting.
So if you get it right, you get wild card. If you get it wrong, I get wild card. That's what you're saying, basically.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So call it.
Okay.
Ready?
So heads is gonna be the company, the brand.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So which one do you want? You want black, or do you want bronze, or whatever the hell this color is?
Okay. All right.
Which one do you want?
Bronze will be right. So okay.
Well, basically just call
flip
it.
that shit.
Which one do you want?
I want black. Grab another one. We have like 50 there.
Yeah.
Should I just see what it was in?
No, don't look at it. Here we go.
I think
Ready?
that'd be kinda cool,
No. Here we go. Flipping.
Company. I want black or whatever color that is.
Which one is it? Black or bronze?
Black.
And which one is black?
I get the wild card.
Okay, so black is you get wild card.
Yes.
Damn, I get wild card. God.
I get freaking 9.8.
I actually want the 9. I actually want that one.
Okay, so what'd you get then?
I actually want the
Oh, fat tire. Is it a wild card or
that was wild card, It was safe. I felt like just in case.
Yeah, it's safe.
In case somebody didn't, someone thought the real heavy was too much. Then.
All right. For the sake of this video, how about you just get the 9.8?
All right. Yeah. Gladly.
So that was all for nothing, guys. So welcome back to Pleb Talk, episode 5, part 2.
Pop that open.
We actually had a long conversation between the first part and this part because we were just talking about some analytics, some pleb on pleb talk. But we are now back. So actually, topic of number 2, part 2 of this video is quite interesting because it's something that we've talked about briefly before, but never really
like
in
with
depth.
This topic, everyone has thought about it at some point.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Everybody has thought about this.
There's something like egotistic about this topic too. About it, like you kind of have to like think of yourself pretty highly to have this thought in your head. Mm-hmm. But what are we talking about?
We're talking about if you and I ruled.
No, just you.
Just me?
Yeah. So
I think you and I, just so we could convene and convince each other otherwise.
Okay. Sure.
So I think if you and I ruled the world, what would be the grand scheme, the major rules of it?
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Okay, so where do you want to start? Okay, so right off the top, we should talk about automated vehicles. So should we have... So Cuba, for example, if you guys don't know, Cuba stopped importing vehicles, I believe, in the 50s or 60s. So all of the vehicles, as far as... I've never been, so as far as I know, 80, 90, maybe 100% of the vehicles are from pre-50s or 60s.
Wow.
If I don't...
I didn't know that, honestly.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they have something like that. They have some sort of, embargo.
I mean, I do know that they were all, old American cars, but I didn't know that was the reason why.
Yeah, so they have some sort of... Okay, you can search that up. We're plebs, but something like that. Something along the line. So, they stopped... I don't know why. Maybe it's because of, foreign business. Maybe they want to, start producing their own vehicles. I don't know if they have their own vehicles or not. But for the most part, their vehicles are, pre-60s. So, would you incorporate some sort of law?
No.
Okay.
Well,
neither would I.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, kind of, yes.
Kind of.
Explain.
We would not be... I say we. We would not be incorporating such laws. Because, well, maybe so. I don't really know how to word this. Let's put it this way.
Yes.
I see it as there would be no cars.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot harsher, I think, than
only
stopping.
Trains.
Okay.
Only subways.
Yes.
Only bikes.
So despite you being a car enthusiast and a driving enthusiast,
yes,
you in your own world or country would completely just stop the manufacturing and the import of foreign vehicles. Is that correct? So how does that... What?
Yeah.
Explain that. So
Look,
so you love cars.
I'm putting away my bias. And I'm putting it for the greater good.
Okay.
For a country that does not pollute. And a country that promotes mass transit and walking.
Okay. So there'll still be pollution because of factories. I'm sure you're producing your own t-shirts.
Sure, but I mean, you take away the cars.
It's a big
That's
part.
massive.
That's a big part.
That's massive.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that.
Really?
I would have vehicles. Well, see, the thing about... I mean, the way you put it sounds pretty nice. So putting vehicles also adds, like I said, human error from the last part. Accidents and traffic.
No more.
And
bicycles and subways and trains.
Wow, man. I mean, if you perfected those 3 forms of transport, it would be pretty efficient. It really would. Then again, we're talking about big cities. So Los Angeles, we've been talking about Los Angeles. Dude, Los Angeles, if they only use bicycles, public transport, which is trains and subways.
Counter me then.
I'm sorry?
Counter me then.
That'd be packed. I mean, think about Tokyo. You ever seen those videos of the people in subways, even London or New York?
Okay.
They're the same. How do you see how packed those things get, man? I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, then you can say
counter me.
So you could say, okay, we can use bicycles. Okay, bicycles are very easy to use for the most part. Mm-hmm. But man, overweight in America, people overweight, obesity.
This isn't America. This is
What about taxis? What about taxis? Taxis.
What about taxis?
Or buses, rather.
Buses, yeah. I could settle with buses. Counter me with buses, yeah. And I will bend with buses, okay? Bikes, buses, subways, and trains.
It's not. It's hard to counter you because it's a good idea if everything works properly, rather.
Okay.
If everything works properly, then sure, why not? But it's just, unfortunately, human error also means people not working properly. And I think you're going to have to allude to some sort of taxis, and then, if not taxis, then like personal vehicles. Oh, man, that's a good one. That is a good one, though. Like I said, if everything's working properly.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then there's a lot of counters I got for you.
Gas
prices would probably go down, but then there'd be no need for gas.
Supply
prices.
and demand would be much lower.
Yeah.
Companies
would hate you. Yeah,
that's fine.
Gas companies would hate you, like, dude, because I don't know what trans use. I mean, it was like electrics.
Some use magnets, magnet
electricity
trains,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, electricity for the most part.
Maybe just buses will be the only one using your gasoline in your country. So,
and even then, those could be electric.
Yeah,
I would prefer those to be electric.
So, gas companies, petroleum companies would hate you.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So they'd be what is it called? Lobbying against you.
First off, there would not be lobbyists.
In
the country.
Those Shell, freaking Exxon, they all would be doing some sort of.
That's
lobbying.
like just an American thing. All right, this isn't America. This is Oblongata.
Okay.
Whatever it's called.
Wow, man, I'm surprised you said that. So, were you being the king, president, leader? I don't know what you would call yourself. Premier. Would you have your own LaFerrari, your own R34, your own S2000? See, if you do, I'm gonna be pissed.
In another country.
Wait, what?
In another country.
What does that mean?
I would have it in another country.
So you'd be a world leader, but you just wouldn't have your own cars. You'd have them in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And what good does that do you in Zimbabwe?
That I could use it.
They have dirt roads over there. What?
Well, not Zimbabwe. Let's say
just in London,
in Germany. I have my my Pagani Zonda R.
Now, do you think there's anything beautiful about driving with other drivers on the road?
In a way, yes. In a way, yes.
Okay.
Even just driving to work every morning.
Yeah.
I do see it in the sense of, like, let's say I'm driving and I'm hustling to get to work.
Yeah.
I slept in a little bit. Oh. Even then, I'm in the fast lane. Just seeing a car move out of the fast lane over. I know the person saw me.
Yeah.
They saw that I was hustling. I feel like there was respect. I feel like there was a little bit of a dance in between us.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel that in some sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're taking a lot away from that in your world, but okay.
I am, but it's for the better.
Let's move on. Besides transportation, what about something like?
Well, first off, do you agree?
So I agree. Like I said, if everything worked properly, man, which I highly doubt. But
so you don't think? Okay, so if you don't think everything worked properly, what's your counter?
So my counter is, like, I'm thinking New York. So when I think New York, when you see videos right now when public transportation is a thing, or you can drive your own cars is a thing, even walking, even bicycling, public transportation, subways, and I don't know if they have trains over there, but just subways and taxis are just a mess.
Yeah,
an absolute mess. So when I think big cities like that, your idea would work perfectly in Idaho, right?
That's where we're living, bro.
Chihuahua, Idaho, down the street, downtown, where the capital is, the state capital is, it'll work fine. But in New York, it just wouldn't work.
This is New York, bro. This is our country.
Well, I know, but sure, like, there's be a hotspot for museums, a hotspot for music.
Okay, let's put it this way: it's population caps per city.
Okay, so now we're moving on. We're moving on.
Yeah.
If there's a population cap per city,
100,000 per city.
Heck no. So who are you moving to? Freaking Kansas? Who's going to go live over there? So you're forcing people to go live over there because they have like 20 people that live over there.
100,000 per city.
100,000?
What's wrong with that?
That's literally like how do I even put that? That's like visitors to one museum per day. Like the Louvre, they probably have 100,000 visitors per day. So you're saying
counter me then?
I'm sorry.
Counter me then.
That just wouldn't work. First of all, oh man, because if you're saying 100,000, there has to be cops, there has to be firefighters, there has to be lawyers.
Counter me. 400,000.
Okay, so you're moving up. Because what is a big city? So
look,
what is
look? This is a foundation here, right? You're a founder. I'm a founder. All right, counter me. I mean, we got to come to agreements here. This is our country.
Okay, I think 400,000. Wait, what the heck?
Look, this is our country trying to make it the most efficient as possible. With the least amount of problems.
Families. I'm thinking families like, okay, right now our city cap is met. I'm sorry, daughter that was just working in Europe. You can't come back yet, I guess. Because
you just can't move in. I mean, you gotta, either move to a surrounding city.
So how does traveling work? How does I want to go see? I want
to go see the bus, take the train, take the subway.
No. I'm saying I want to go see. PSG game. How would I go see a PSG game if they're already at 400,000?
You can visit, but you can't live there as a resident.
Okay, so it's like a 1 month cap.
What do you mean 1 month cap?
I can only be there for a month.
You can't be there as a resident.
Okay, there's so many ways around that. We're talking about some I could just live in some attic.
Okay, look, if you say you could live in some attic, where are you gonna work?
I think it's the least of the problems. I'm thinking World War II with Anne Frank.
Okay, that's one person.
She was quite young. But,
that's one person.
Well, there's a family up there.
Okay, that's 3 people.
For several months.
Okay. Like I said, that's 3 people. But like I said, that is someone with their back up against the wall where they have no other option.
So now, are we having patrol officers going to house? Hey, are the same 3 people still living here?
No, we're not.
So that's way easier then.
That's leeway. Look, I'm not talking about strict Nazi Germany rules.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about having a population cap that kind of expects humans to try to take advantage of, the leeway. So if it's 400,000, and at the end of the day, if someone tries to take, multiple families try to take advantage, it really turns into 410,000. Who cares? We're still in the buffer zone. So you think
there's something beautiful about people wanting to live out in the ranches and the farms?
Think about the real estate. Someone takes a gamble and say, you know what, I think this is gonna be the next big city.
Well, there can't be any big cities if it stops at 400.
This is gonna be the next, big place that people are gonna want to live.
I think considering how many people we have on this earth, I think that it immediately there'd be no big cities.
Look. How big do you think? Look, we will raise the cap based off of when a certain amount. Okay, first off, there's got to be a buffer zone.
Yes.
Let's say 50 miles to the next city. Okay, and I say 50 miles to the next city, so it allows the city to grow, and the city will grow even though it has a 400,000 population limit. That once enough surrounding places have also reached the population cap, then we can expand it to say, all right, look, now we can allow this city 600,000.
So, counter, just see what you say.
Yeah, counter me.
Right now, in 2019, the population of New York, I don't know what that jurisdiction is, but New York.
Yeah.
In 2019.
Look, this is a major city though, New York.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Probably the biggest one. Is 8.4 million.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
a lot of people who are living in massive high-rise condos and apartments, where it's 10,000 people per building, basically.
Okay, no.
Look, I know I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of people per building.
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per building. Per one building.
Okay. So there's 8.2. You said 400,000?
Yeah. I'm just spitballing here.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just trying to counter you spitballing as well. 8.2 million people that are now displaced back in 2019. where the F do they go?
What? I'm not displacing anybody. Look, I told you, we're not governing America. We're governing our own country.
Our own world or whatever.
Our own world, yeah.
Sure. But where do these people go? So they would have to now go to...
New York?
Yes.
Look, our own country, we're not starting with a population of 1 billion people.
Okay, so what is...
We're not starting with a population of 300 million people.
Okay.
We're starting a population of X amount of people. I didn't say we're starting amount. I didn't say that all of a sudden we start a country.
Okay.
And boom, we have 10 million people. Figure out what to do with them.
So you're starting from the get-go.
I'm talking about start from the get-go. Like, this is a new country. We found this plot of land the size of Europe.
So the thing I disagree with this is that if you start like that, then of course the norm would be that. So then people probably would be okay with it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
So if we start like that, then sure, you could get
Look,
along.
I told you from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is our own country. This isn't America.
Yeah, no. I'm just. We could start with London or Milan or I don't know, some other city. It doesn't have to be America. I'm just thinking America is just what I know the most.
I'm saying this is our own country, though.
Oh, country or world?
No, this is our own country.
Okay.
Like a country the size of Europe.
So what we want now? So let's say we have a country like Croatia.
Okay, I mean that's pretty tiny. You can consider I just said the size of Europe, but yeah.
What's a big country that doesn't really have a lot of population? Maybe Canada.
Canada, yeah. That's
maybe Canada. So we can start with Canada. So as a country, you want tourism. You want people migrating to your company to...
I said citizens. You cannot be... 400,000 is the resident limit.
Yes.
Of people who live in that city.
Okay, so tourist is fine. Okay.
Tourist is fine.
But you kind of want migrants, like professionals from like other countries.
Sure.
For example...
They can migrate.
Doctors.
They can migrate. They can nationalize.
Say we're in a city that it's already kind of reached its cap. I know you're talking about some sort of like miles jurisdiction or
yeah.
So we kind of need this family to move in, but we kind of don't have space or really the law doesn't accept.
Why would you need a family to move in?
For example, some sort of like professional in some sort of field. It can be medicine, it could be law, it could be it could be something that we need or that country needs rather.
Look, like I said already, 400,000 is the number.
Yes,
but that's built in with like a buffer.
Sure. I see what you mean, but say like a company within that within that country or city.
Okay.
Let's say like Tesla was founded there.
All right.
Something like, or I don't want to go back to Tesla. Let's say Ferrari or something like that, and they want an engineer from Switzerland to move in because they really know their stuff in engines and stuff like that. But we're kind of at that cap. How can we hire this individual from Switzerland if we have no space for them in this city?
Look, I said the cities are 50 miles away.
Yeah.
50 miles with a maglev subway is nothing.
Inconvenience.
That's not inconvenience at all.
I think it is.
That's 20 minutes.
If it works.
Japan has maglev trains that go 200 miles an hour.
If it works.
It does work.
In Japan. What about in Canada?
It will... I mean, I'm not talking we're going to be living in the Arctic.
But then 50 miles is pretty close to each other, too. We're talking like major cities every 50 miles?
I'm talking major cities every 50 miles, and the expansion...
That's so close.
The expansion is a 10-mile diameter. So you add 10 miles to the diameter per 60. Every city. So it would be 30 miles, assuming that both cities expanded.
That seems so forced to where it just wouldn't work. You see what I mean? Like, there's just so many.
I don't see it. I see it as it works perfect.
I don't know, man.
I don't understand where you're finding a flaw or where you're finding a problem.
There'll also be a lot of gentrification.
Gentrification. Why?
Because like, why not ramp up the prices of, let's say there's a Ferrari compound or company or what's the word I'm looking for? Factory.
Okay, factory.
In your city or one of the cities. And, obviously if you work at Ferrari and you're like an engineer, then you probably get paid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just pay more for a home or apartment near that factory instead of going 50 or 30 miles?
Then go buy someone out. It's a free market.
Buy someone out, which means gentrification.
That doesn't mean gentrification.
Because if you're working at the Walmart, or
you're buying somebody out, you're not buying a whole neighborhood out. You're buying one person out.
Right.
Gentrification is not buying one person out.
It's buying a lot of people out.
It's the government buying a lot of people out. You're one person buying one person out.
Buying people out.
It's not the market.
It's like, okay, if we're having a Ferrari dealership next to this neighborhood, why not ramp up the prices?
Gentrification. I don't know if you ever seen the South Park episode of Soda Sopa. I doubt you have.
Yes.
South Park nailed it on the head.
Yes, I haven't seen
it. It's basically a whole community,
a
whole city, buying out a place. It's not one person buying one person out.
Right. So listen to this. I guess you're saying, but we're talking about several engineers at Ferrari.
Okay.
So rather than having that...
First off, gentrification... No, look, I'm interrupting. Go ahead. Gentrification is a upper class person buying out a lower class area.
Yes.
Why would a Ferrari engineer buy out a place in the slums?
No, I'm not talking about slums. I'm saying the factory is near a neighborhood. It doesn't have to be a slums. It could be an okay neighborhood.
Okay.
People at that neighborhood work at, they're probably teachers. They're probably...
So what if Ferrari builds their factory next to a high-end neighborhood and this engineer buys out a high-end resident?
Which they won't. Because
they could.
They could, but they won't. It would be convenient for Ferrari.
You are only saying it's gentrification because you are assuming it's a lower income person.
I'm not even saying lower. I'm talking like middle class. It could be middle class. So middle class means people like teachers. It could be,
Look, you're paying them out.
Okay. So you're paying them out, several of them.
No, you're paying that family out.
And then what about the next engineer?
Okay, well, you're assuming that it's engineer after engineer after engineer after engineer.
You're talking about a factory, not a dealership. A dealership is a lot easier because dealerships you got to just sell the cars. If you're engineering Ferrari,
you're also assuming that they're buying out the same neighborhood.
Well, if it's right next to it and the prices are pretty low already,
but then you're also missing the point of a free real estate, free market system. That if having the Ferrari factory there raises the real estate all around it.
Yes.
I mean, is it going to go up or is it going to go down?
It's going to go up. 100%.
100%.
100%.
So if it goes up,
yes,
you're only giving that person who lives there before the engineer more money to where that engineer has to pay him out even more.
Okay, and it might not matter to the engineer, but to the person living there, the rent or the mortgage.
Okay, but they're getting more money. They're getting more money. There's more happiness.
It might not be to the level as they'd want it though. So what I'm saying, you see what I'm saying though. Eventually,
I don't see what you're saying.
Eventually,
because it only plays into that person's hand who's getting bought out. Because if they're getting bought out, that means they got their price. They got the money that they wanted.
It won't always be the price.
They got the money they wanted.
No, it won't be the price they wanted.
The way that you're talking, you're making it sound like that they were forced to get bought. If they say no, they say no.
No. I mean, if they can afford the rent going up, the mortgage going up.
And that's fine. Let's say they afford it.
Well, let's say they can't.
Why? Why can't they?
Because maybe they work as a night shift at a local supermarket as a manager, and they're barely making it at that place.
So why are you living in a higher income neighborhood then?
Well, it wasn't a higher income before the Ferrari company was there or the factory was there.
Then move to a different place.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't make sense.
You're moving to a different place.
Look, if you cannot afford to live in the area that you're living, that's just saying that you are not living within your means.
No. So before the Ferrari factory, Shawn, I don't think you're understanding. Before that factory was built.
I don't think you're understanding.
So you know where I live now, right? So over here in Utah, I mean, you kind of live near Utah as well, so there's not much going on here. But if there was to be a factory, a Ferrari factory, or whatever factory, it could be a Toyota. It doesn't matter, really. They kind of make the same amount of money. If anything, Toyota.
By the way, personally, I don't think a Ferrari factory isn't going to raise land value. I really don't think so.
Okay, well, that's a start, though.
Okay.
Kind of like Tesla down in South Texas.
I mean, did it raise land value?
Oh, it's going to. It's going to for sure.
It's going to. You say it's going to.
Well, once it makes it, of course, there's businesses that come around with it, So there's like this that comes up and then this comes up. So I'm talking in the grand scheme of things, 100%, the land value is going to go up, mortgage is going to go up, rent is going to go up. I mean, because like I'm saying, we can go back. Sure, why not use Tesla? Down in South Texas in Bronzeville, I believe.
Not Bronzeville? Really?
It's in Bronzeville. So not much is going on in Bronzeville right now.
In Austin, didn't
they? That's some. I think it's like a gigafactory, something like that. But something's. Okay. Oh, you know what? It's SpaceX in Bronzeville.
Oh, okay.
So I think Austin might be Tesla. I'm not sure, but whatever. In Bronzeville, there's not much going. This is a perfect example. There's not much going on right now in Bronzeville before before Elon Musk. Now that Elon Musk is building a SpaceX company, you can imagine the amount of engineers, software engineers that are applying there and getting jobs and getting paid hundreds of thousands to work there.
What about the engineers?
Yes.
Who are homegrown in Brownsville?
Which are probably very few because there's no big colleges there.
I mean, let's say they're from Brownsville. They go to college in Houston and they want to move back to their home.
Okay.
Because that's where their family is.
Okay, so why not? But that's to be a percentage of those engineers. So it can't be all 100% of engineers.
Of course not.
There'll be some from, I don't know, San Francisco.
But you're acting like a city can't have a wealthy area and it can't have an average area.
Okay, but to get a wealthy area in Bronzeville, which right now there probably isn't much of, right? I mean, I don't know Bronzeville that much. I have some friends that are from there, but there isn't much of a wealthy area already. It might be a neighborhood, like a single cul-de-sac. Sure. But because of that SpaceX company, there will be a whole, maybe a street or block of it.
Look, this is a city, like I said. I mean, I don't know if you agreed on it yet. This is a city of 400,000 people. Okay?
So that's what I'm saying.
We're not allowing unlimited growth.
I understand.
If it creates a city of rich people, then it creates a city of rich people. Who cares?
That's a problem.
Why is that a problem?
Because
what? Because at the end of the day,
it's attractive.
How? Because at the end of the day,
what if I'm working from home and I'm wealthy? Like a wealthy position.
Listen. At the end of the day, the city still has to have business. If the city still has business, it still requires a certain amount of people who are in the middle class that are running regular businesses.
That's the problem. Those middle class people will have to do all the traveling. All the wealthy people will be able to live downtown or within their jurisdiction or distance to their
If you're a wealthy person, you're going to want to live right next to where you work.
Exactly.
Right next to where you work. Yes. You're asking, look.
What if there's a Walmart?
You are thinking, the way you are talking,
yes,
you're making it sound like there's 400,000 engineers working at Ferrari. There's other businesses.
Exactly. Other engineers or other lawyers or other doctors or something like that. What if, because there's like Subways, right? There's McDonald's at every corner. There's the Starbucks at every corner.
Yeah, and regular people are going to own them.
Yes. Now, how far do you think?
There still needs to be cashiers.
Yes.
There still needs to be burger flippers.
Yes.
So what's the problem? So
how far do you think they'll have to live to get to their job if we're in like San Francisco is such a good example because all of the big technological companies are there, Google, Yahoo, I'm sure. So how far do you think, if there's a cap to the amount of people that can live in a certain city, how far do you think they'll have to travel per day just to work at a Starbucks?
Look, like I said, even if it is that way.
Yes.
It's 50 miles from city edge to city edge. 50 miles.
Then why not just quit their job and work at a Starbucks near their house? And then Starbucks will go out. See, that's just.
Look, I feel like I'm gonna have to draw a dang diagram for you or something.
It just doesn't work.
What do you want? Because you're not countering me. You're just giving me scenario after scenario, and I feel like I'm answering it, but you just won't accept it. So what do you want?
So the thing is that when you have a cap to a city, which is 400,000, which is nothing compared to New York.
If you allow unlimited growth, you're gonna see what happens to LA. It's basically just city after city after city after city, bunched up together, grid-like section that doesn't work, where traffic is just built up upon car after car after car after car, where no one can even walk anywhere. It's just gridlock the entire time.
I don't think having a cap on the population is necessarily the answer.
Look, I told you time after time again, counter me. What do you want?
So, San Francisco, for example. I'm talking about population and gentrification. So, firsthand, I know people, family members.
Okay, first off, let me interrupt you.
Yes.
You keep saying gentrification.
Yes.
Gentrification.
Yes.
Why is it even bad?
Why is gentrification bad?
Why is it bad? Look, if you're buying out someone who is in a lesser economic situation, you're buying them out. You're giving them their price point. They agreed.
You're not giving to the price point. You're kind of giving them like a bad alternative. The only option they have.
No, it's not. Look, if you're giving them, look, everyone has their price. If you are giving them their price,
yes.
It's win-win.
Okay, in most cases, you're not giving them the price, but sure.
If you are giving them, if they said, look, I'm not selling. Look, I'm happy being here. I'm not selling. Look, the land value is $200,000. My house is worth $100,000. $300,000 in total. I'm not leaving here unless I get double that. They get double that. Boom, they're happy. There's $600,000. That's $300,000 more than they.
And that's not the case. That's just not the case how it works.
Look.
I mean, I know what you're saying. In a fairy tale world where where you put, okay, my house is worth this much, and this is how much I want. I'm gonna want this. That's not what happens.
And if you say no, that's fine. Who cares? What's the problem? They still live there.
Rent goes up.
Rent goes up. Look, if they can't afford it, then sell.
That's what I'm saying.
What's the problem?
You're selling to a price that you not necessarily want, but you have no other option but to sell.
That's life. Right. That's life in a free market.
Okay, well, that's what we call gentrification.
Look, that's capitalism. That's what that's called.
That might be the downfall of capitalism.
Okay, then. So, look, I told you time and time again, and you refuse to do it. Counter me.
So I just did.
Are we taking away capitalism? That's fine.
So we just agreed that this form of capitalism is a downfall, and if we agree with that, we can move on.
I have always said capitalism. Look, if you know me, you know that I think capitalism is not the way. So, that being said, counter me. This doesn't have to be a capitalistic country. So
we just agreed that capitalism, in that sense of you have no other option, go out or pay the price, is bad. Can we agree with that?
No. I'm not with that, but I don't see capitalism is the pure way.
Okay, so we're going before we go into capitalism and what's the right way, I just want to make sure that gentrification really is either you get with the program or you're out of the program type of thing.
Sure.
Okay. So with these prices, I see what you're saying, but what happens more often than not is like, hey, I have this guy that's willing to pay $2,000 or $2,500 per rent. You're only paying $1,800 right now, so either you start paying $2,300 or you're out.
Okay. Look, by the way you're speaking,
yes,
you're speaking as if that person has a landlord.
Yes, which is a lot of most of the cases is like that, but the prices can go up other ways as well.
A landlord means that you're basically renting from an apartment. If you own the land. Or, I mean, the house, but no. That's not. A house is based off a mortgage. Or once you pay your mortgage, you're good.
No. I mean, you could be renting a house.
From a person.
Right. Or a company.
I mean, the company's not going to, raise your rates. I mean, your mortgage is your mortgage.
Well, it increases your rates depending on the location you're in. So, of course...
Your mortgage? No.
Or the rates.
The worth of your house is the worth of your house.
But it goes up or down depending on a lot of things.
Look, if your house is $200,000,
yes,
Ferrari builds a dealership,
yes,
and all of a sudden your house is worth $1 million,
yes,
you're not paying the difference.
Oh, I know.
Because that's the way you're talking. That's what it sounds like.
No. I see what you mean. No, but your price. I mean, your house value can go up, but not necessarily the prices you're paying per month or whatever. 100%. Now, of course, if you buy the house or the house is yours, then more power to you because it's your house.
Because you said that they're going to raise their rates. They're going to raise their rent.
When you're renting.
And that's like you're talking about a landlord.
No. Yeah. So when you're owning the house, yes. I'm sorry. When you're renting the house. When you're renting the house. So
and that's a very small subsect of people.
I don't know.
It's very, very small.
I don't know.
That's very, very small to where people are owning houses.
Well, there's also like taxes that come along with the house.
Let's just get on to the next topic.
Sure. What was I? Oh, so capitalism. I don't know if we want to get into that. Capitalism, as far as if it's the right or wrong. Well, was it Wilson? Not Wilson. The English Prime Minister during World War II, Woodrow.
Yeah, Woodrow Jackson.
Wilson.
Is that what it is?
It's Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson.
It's not him. It's I'm thinking of somebody else. Oh man,
I got years hitting. Woodrow Wilson, the 28th U.S. president.
No. It's
UK. What year?
Freaking Winston Churchill.
Oh, okay.
Winston Churchill once said, correct me if I'm wrong, he said democracy is not the best form of government, or is not the perfect form of government, but it's the best one we have, I believe. Or is it capitalism?
It can't be capitalism. There's no way. Because that's just the dollar vote at that point. And the dollar vote takes away the vote from lower income people.
Well, okay. Well, just so we don't stay quiet. He said that the best one is what we have now is just not the perfect one. So you think there's a better form of government besides you're saying capitalism, not
see capitalism. I don't. I mean, maybe democracy. Yeah, I mean, a democracy works in theory, but a democracy is also I feel like the flaw of democracy is uneducated people.
Elaborate.
So this is also one of my beliefs.
Yes.
One of my theories of a flaw of basically the U.S.
Okay.
Okay. I see a flaw in the U.S. where you're 18, you can vote. I do not think 18 is when you should be able to vote.
Sooner or later?
I think it should be like 25.
Wow. That's late.
18, 19, 20, people are not paying attention to politics. They're literally voting.
How you're brought up. Maybe you weren't.
Absolutely not. Look, I know for a fact, all the people I know, all the people I talk to in college, absolutely they are not. I can guarantee you, I watch the news. I can almost guarantee you 4 times, 6 times, 8 times as much as you do. Like political news.
Yes.
And I just do not see any of my friends doing that. And
I mean, your friends, that might not be a good start. I think I've met some people back in my undergrad. I was like, okay, this guy knows what's up. And like I said, it depends on how you're brought up. Maybe your parents are lawyers. If your parents are lawyers, then you probably have a better understanding that someone is, just works at some.
And that's the minority.
Okay, well, that's already disproves your point, but
it doesn't disprove it because it's a democracy. A majority rules. That's the minority.
Okay, but your point is that some 20-year-olds may understand what they're doing.
So how are you gonna prove if you're 20 years old that you have the ability to vote?
So I see what you're saying. 18. Well, see, I mean, well, you can't speak for everybody.
I'm speaking for. I mean, the
research depends on a person. If
look. Listen. The U.S. speaks for everybody when they say 18, you can vote for the president. So why can I not speak for everybody when I say 25 should be?
25 is way too old.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Look.
Even I understand what's going on was like at 22.
I honestly don't think so. I really don't think so.
I mean, you don't have to understand much to vote. I mean, you can kind of.
I don't think so. I think, look, politics is one of the most grimiest things of all time. And I feel like, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they say they might see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they truly see what's happening in the background of politics.
So what's truly happening in the background then to inform you 18, 19, 20-year-olds? What's really happening in the background that we have to know?
I'm just saying people, they all have their own hidden agendas.
Okay,
and I feel like 18, 19, 20-year-olds are all easy. I mean, contrary to this belief, no disrespect to 18, 19, 20-year-olds, 21, 22, whatever, less than 25-year-olds. I'm not saying you don't see the hidden agenda, but that's the whole background of some politicians of easily manipulating the younger age groups for votes.
Now, you're also putting a lot of weight on voters from the age of 18, 19, 20, I guess up to 25 in the percentage of voters, which is probably not much comparative. So I feel like everybody up until the age of maybe 22 probably doesn't vote.
I don't believe that at all. I mean, look, you went to college.
Yes.
I went to college.
Yes.
There were people hounding you when you were just outside saying, "Hey, are you registered to vote?" Vote, blah, blah, blah.
And that's fine and all. But I'm talking about the percentage of people that actually vote and show up on election day or the early bird voting. I don't think it's very much of them are, or maybe now a little bit more.
I think it's before. A lot.
I think it's a lot, but just not as much as compared to from 25 to 60.
First off, you're talking about America.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're kind of.
I'm talking about our country.
Okay, well, it depends on. Okay, we can't really like.
What if there was a mandatory law to where at the age of 25 and above you had to vote?
Okay, see, that's a bad start.
Counter me.
I'm sorry.
Counter me.
Because of, I know there's a lot of people that are really into politics and follow them, but I think there's a bigger of a majority that don't give a two poops about what's going on in their politics, because not much really changes in the grand scheme of things. Right, whether it's in U.S. Democrats.
Look, I see most less than 25-year-old age group as one topic voters. Oh. They see, he said free college. Got to vote for this guy. Okay. I have to vote for this guy, and I think that's the problem, that they don't see the greater good of one politician. Just because that one politician said he doesn't believe in this, when a majority of less than 25-year-old people, agree or disagree or whatever.
I see what you mean, but there's also points that candidates make that may not really suit you. Or like, okay, this person's talking about border control. Well, I'm a citizen. I have no family that's really from the other side of the border, so I really care less about his point of view or her point of view is on this topic. But when it comes to this, whether it's free college or whatever X, Y, and Z it may be, I really care about, because it affects me and my children and my family. So I think that's why those people don't really care about the other points, because it doesn't suit them.
So do you agree or disagree that because I think we have to come to agreement somewhere.
Sure.
Do you agree or disagree that the age limit for voting should be upped?
Oh man!
Because that's just the U.S. that said 18 or above. Yeah, that's just what America said.
Yes.
What do you think?
So we have to compare to other things. Military. At what age can you be drafted into a?
I think the age for drafting is 16. I mean, don't quote me on it.
So if you could be drafted to fight for your country,
because I know for a fact you can join the military at 16. You just need a parent to sign off on it.
Okay. If you have to be, if you had the possibility of being drafted for your country at the age of 16, 17, 18.
16, I know for a fact.
Okay, 16. And quite literally take a bullet for your country. Mm-hmm. How could you? But
you still can't have a beer.
Even before having a cigarette or a beer or gamble, how could you not vote? Have the option to vote at the very least for who is making those decisions?
Look, brain maturity isn't 100% realized until 25 years old.
So why draft them into the military?
Because that's what the U.S. says. Okay, I said, this is our country.
Okay, so we're talking about the U.S. right now, right? Are we not? Are we not talking about Switzerland?
I feel like you saying we're talking about the U.S. right now is deviating from the true topic of our country.
Okay, so in our country, I would like scientists to really figure out whether it is 25 or whatever it is.
Full brain cognitive development and function is not until 25.
Okay, so at what age do you think in our country should we start drafting individuals for war?
That's just the U.S. saying drafting for war.
Okay, so you don't want to draft?
No.
Okay, so
make it voluntary, just like a majority of the people.
Well, sure, we're not in war right now, but I'm sure back in World War II there was a lot of involuntary drafting or people in war. Surely,
I think that's only for like Vietnam.
Okay, or for Vietnam, whatever. So in our country,
look, but that's just superpowers. You were talking about a superpower country.
Well, I don't know if Vietnam was a superpower country.
The U.S. was a superpower country, which is why the U.S. was drafting.
Yes, to win, in which we still lost, or they still lost, or we still lost. So, at what age? Okay, we're getting to something. I want to get. So, what I want is that at the point, at the age you are being able to do something. I'm sorry, you're told to do something. I also want you to have some sort of say within your politics or your realm of government. right? So that's all I'm trying to get to. So at what age do you think, let's say our country was in sort of big war, that we need some people, some men and women. At what age will you start drafting? If you're saying that you can't vote until you're 25 or older, at what age will you start drafting? We're talking about war. We're talking about like literally our government probably falling down or collapsing.
Look, the point about drafting...
Let's not change the subject, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm not changing the subject.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to make you see the reason why there is a draft.
Yeah, because we're lacking people.
Other than the fact that you're lacking people.
Yeah.
You're trying to pick males that are in physical good shape or could be easily whipped into physical good shape.
Okay.
You cannot easily whip in a male at 40 years old into good shape.
Okay.
That's just genetics.
Okay.
So you have to choose younger.
Okay.
You have to.
Okay. So what are we getting into this?
My point is, I'm just trying to inform you.
Yes. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Okay. So that being said, reformulate your question.
Okay. Same question. At what age will you start considering individuals, men and women, to be drafted into your war?
Let's put it this way. Costa Rica, for example.
Now, I thought we were not talking about countries, but go ahead.
Well, look, I said we're not talking about... I feel like you this entire time have been basing everything off of America.
Let's not. Whatever you want. I'm letting you choose a number. I'm literally letting you choose a number.
You have not even let me finish the question.
Go ahead.
Costa Rica, for example, does not have a military.
Okay.
You keep asking these questions based off that we are going to have all these enemies.
You just don't know.
Costa Rica doesn't know, but yet they don't have a military.
Okay. Okay,
I mean,
I'm putting it. I'm trying to, I'm trying to test your country, or I'm sorry, our country, to whatever possibility. And in this possibility, in this scenario,
look, you are also insinuating
you're
that there is
so hard to avoid this question. Yeah.
I'm not.
Give
You
me a
are
number.
also insinuating
Give me
that
a
there
number.
is a draft.
Yeah.
Why is there a draft? The only reason why the U.S.
Yes.
has a draft, I think you're missing the point. The only reason why the U.S. had a draft is because they were lacking people in a war that they wanted.
Okay.
Costa Rica doesn't have a military. They do not have a war that they want.
Okay.
You are asking these questions as if that we have a war that we want.
We may not want it, but it's happening. We have no option. Okay, Shawn, I'm telling you, in this scenario,
there is no war that we have.
Why not?
We are at peacetime. Do you want a war?
No, I don't want a war, but
do you want a war? Okay, does
country wants a war?
Okay, does Mozambique have a draft system?
I don't know.
Not every country has a draft system in place.
Okay, maybe we don't. So are we just saying that? Okay, we're at war, Shawn. Our country, whatever you want to call it.
Now we're at war. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're in this scenario. I'm trying to test it. So to test it, you have to put scenarios up, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting a scenario up where our country, for whatever reason, maybe because we aren't allowing any more immigrants because we're maxed out on all our 10 cities or whatever the heck it is.
I didn't say we're maxed out on 10 cities. I just said 400,000 per city.
Okay, well, we're maxed out on all our cities.
Okay.
And we're at war for whatever reason. Okay, that's beyond the point. Whether we want it or not, we probably don't want war. I don't think any country wants war, to be honest with you. I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but we're at war with our neighbor country. For whatever reason, because whatever. If you want an example, I can give you an example, but it's for whatever reason. We are kind of losing this battle now because I guess we don't have the right personnel.
Okay, so in that case, we have voluntary people, of course, that goes into the military.
Okay.
And then we have a mandatory 25%.
What does that mean?
25% of males.
At what age does it start?
I say it starts at 20 years old.
So if there's a 25 mandatory, so we call it a draft.
Okay.
Right? That's what a draft is. It's like, okay, from this percentile.
We'll call it the lottery.
Right. That's what happened in Vietnam. I believe it was like by last name or something. Whatever. A draft. You're 21. You're in shape. You're the right height. Or maybe you're not in shape, but you can be in shape. You can smoke a cigarette now. You can actually drink now. But you can't vote yet. But you have to go fight our neighboring country.
See, I think you are so... you're holding on to the fact.
Yes.
Or not even the fact. You're holding on to your own belief.
Yes.
That a vote is basically as equal as your life. I feel like you see
What's worth more? Life? Let me
your
answer
life.
that. Okay.
Your
so
life.
why not vote if it's such a small percentile of what your life is worth? Why not be able to vote?
Because at the end of the day, your mind, your brain
Yes.
doesn't have the cognitive function.
But yet you can go hold the gun and go perhaps even kill yourself for whatever reason because you might
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You can train 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21, 22 how to be great killers. The U.S. military has proven that.
Okay, back to U.S., but
I'm just saying the U.S. military has proven that if the U.S. can do it, any other country can do it because that just shows proof of concept.
Okay, so even though you're putting a lot of value on a vote as well, you're also saying a vote sure, it does matter. Go ahead and vote, but it also really doesn't matter in the big grand scheme of things, right? Is that what you're saying? So your one vote for the thousands that it fluctuates like hundreds and thousands, and over here this one's like 20,000. So one vote. So you're putting a lot of value on a vote as well, and less value on a life.
I'm putting more value in a quality of a vote.
Which is valued at the same. Look.
I mean, you hear U.S. news, okay? I don't mean to bring the U.S. back, but I'm just trying to show you the poor example of it.
Yeah.
You see the U.S. news.
Yeah.
Tell me a completely unbiased news source.
The Onion. Am I wrong?
It's a news source of Parody. Yeah, so it's not technically news.
Well, see, then we're getting different questions or topics as far as like agendas. And
Look. What I'm saying is the problem is you are seeing it. You're seeing it either as political agendas, and I feel like the U.S. has it the wrong way in the sense of a two-party system. I'm not saying our country has a two-party system. I'm not saying it has the French system.
Which it does.
Our country does not have the two-party system.
The U.S.?
No, our country, the one that we are making, is
Okay.
not going to have the two-party system.
Okay.
I will tell you that right now.
Okay.
I will never agree on the two-party system.
Okay.
Because I feel like that promotes
agendas.
Not agendas, but that just promotes people from separating from unity.
Okay.
It just, it's like the whole, saying of, don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics, with random people or something,
Look, man, all I was trying to say there is that if you're able to fight for your country, and potentially give up your life for something you really didn't want to be in the first place, and you had no say over what you were going to be in.
So why should you be given the right to vote?
Exactly.
Why?
So you should be given.
You tell me why.
I'm going to. Jesus Christ. I mean, can I get there?
Get there.
If you have the opportunity to vote for somebody that's a little bit more provocative, perhaps like a candidate that's like more like against the country that's right next to you, maybe hates for whatever reason or has a lot of things to say about that country, then why not be able to vote or have the opportunity at least?
You tell me why.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Why not have the opportunity to vote for that candidate that's a little bit more passive, and then maybe wants to find some sort of middle ground with that country and compromise?
So tell me.
Because if you're a candidate or being subjected to potentially join this war that you have no say in, then you should be able to vote for an individual that perhaps lines up with your ideals more than the other.
No.
If you're over, then maybe 18 is fine. Maybe 18 is fine. I don't know.
18 is not fine. I'll tell you that right now.
In
my opinion, 18 is not fine.
I don't know what the science is behind brain capabilities.
I'll tell you right now, you do not have full cognitive function at 18.
I will tell you, at 23, I had a pretty good idea of what was going on.
But look, that's just facts, though. That at 23, you do not have full brain development.
It depends on a lot of people, And like I said, even people that grow up differently, I'm sure that even you at 23 were like, you had a pretty good understanding.
See, I thought so, but I feel like now, even though I thought at 23 that I did have a good understanding,
it's probably better. But I think
I feel like now I feel like I have such a better understanding of how the world works, and not only that, of how at 23 I thought I knew it, but I really didn't.
I would say, and I'm right hand on my heart, I'm saying at 23, I had a solid understanding of what was going on. Like,
look, I knew you when I was 23.
I'm sorry?
And I knew you when I was 23, and I can tell you do not have a full understanding.
I wasn't 23 when you were 23.
I know.
So
and I'm saying when I was... when you were 23...
Yeah.
I can tell you do not have a full understanding of true global events.
I disagree.
See, and
that's fine. That's how this works. But I'm saying that I think at 23, I mean, I'm not trying to say that to put the age at 23, but I think 23, for me personally, I had a solid understanding of what was going on.
Look,
a solid. I'm not saying an expert. I didn't know exactly what this candidate was rooting for or what he was or she was saying. But at 23, I could be able to vote intelligently with purpose.
That's what you think.
I'll say it with like I said, with my right hand on my right hand on my heart.
But see, that's what you think.
Yeah, sure.
With your right hand on your heart.
You could test me. You could put a scientist, and maybe he'd say, "Oh, you didn't really know about taxes," and you might be right. But everything else, I think I have a good. Okay, whatever. That's beyond the point. You guys tell me what age.
I really think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
On this one, I think so. Because 25. I mean, I'm 25 now, and I'm thinking I've been in the game for a while, so I think it's before 25 for sure.
Minimum. I mean, I got 1 year over you on this.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to reconvene on 1 year to the date, and that'll be our 1 year anniversary.
I mean, you learn more as time goes by, without a doubt.
That will be our 1 year anniversary episode. I'm gonna mark this right now.
Do it. We'll rewatch this episode and then we'll do the episode.
Yes.
But I think that to close it up on my point, you can go ahead and close on yours as well. Starting from the beginning, I think that vehicles are probably heading the right direction you're saying. I don't know if it's the best though.
I feel like we just did not get any progress on this.
Well, I think that we should lean more towards public transportation.
I believe so.
But I think that there's also like a romantic, sporty feeling.
So you do agree though that public transportation is the king.
Oh, yeah.
For the future.
100%.
Okay.
It should be, at least, if it wants to work. But okay. I think that there should be the option to drive your own vehicle. Why not?
Do you think so?
Yeah, there should be an option. I mean, if public transportation is working properly, then why not drive your own vehicle? Because if it's working properly, like I said, then traffic wouldn't be a problem anyway. Because in most cities, for example, like in Texas, I think public transportation is not a thing at all whatsoever.
It's not.
I'll be surprised if there's like
What about Florida?
I don't know about Florida, honestly. It isn't either.
California?
It works a little better, I know, but it still definitely is not.
New York.
Ooh, see, that's a good one because they have just overpopulation like crazy. So I know that their subways work, but they don't work as in like population wise.
Okay.
And people still, taxis is a big thing, which is cool and all because you're not really using your own vehicle, but I know people walk a lot and stuff like that. Whatever. I think public transportation is the answer. I just don't think in the United States we found the right recipe. In Europe, obviously they have.
And what about for our country?
For our country, we should look at some sort of European country or city to get our blueprint from.
Amsterdam.
I've never been, but probably.
It's a beautiful country. I promote anyone to go to Amsterdam.
I wish I did, and I hope I do. As for our own country, I think the age of voting
25
should be. Well, we'll go to you right now. I think the age should align somewhat with the age of being able to be drafted into military service. That's all I'm saying. If you want to do science, if you want to say,
I will agree to disagree. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Let me just finish mine. If you want to say it's 25 to be drafted, then I think 25 to be voting is fine. If you want to say earlier, then earlier. We'll go with that. We'll go with the scientists. We'll go to professionals.
Why is it? Look, before we end the episode,
yeah,
just tell me why. Why is it that you see that being drafted is the ticket to voting?
Because if you aren't able to say who is ruling your country,
because you don't have the cognitive ability, to know,
then why fight for your country?
Because you can be trained.
So why not be trained to vote? Why not have a class in high school?
Because you don't have the education.
Okay, so why not have a class in high school or whatever in college to learn how to vote?
Okay, so how do you want to structure education?
I'm sorry?
How do you want to structure education?
We'll get into that soon. Structured education, obviously, it has to be with unbiasedly. Of course, you would have to have some.
Okay, because at this point, we're basing our education off of the kindergarten through 12th grade education
In the United States.
in the United States.
Yes.
Exactly. So I feel like this needs a continuation of how to base education in order to
Toss in a class that has some sort of format that is
advance cognitive fortitude.
okay. Then we're moving somewhere. We're getting progress.
We're getting progress. Yeah.
And I think that if that's what it comes down to, education.
I feel
then
like this needs a part 2.
There's a part 2: education and how to
better the country.
better the country.
How to better the utopia country.
Okay, let me ask you this before we close it. Do you think that being drafted or fighting for your country, whether you have the option or not to, has any say, or you should have any say whether or not who rules you or who you vote for? Should be there any correlation? Yes,
No.
yes or no? No correlation as far as
No correlation, but because I firmly believe that there are greater powers above you that know what's better for you. Maybe not better for you, but what's better for the greater good.
example.
What's better for the greater good.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all I could really say.
that's so vague though.
I don't really know how to break it down into a specific example.
Yeah,
But all I could really say is...
I mean, I agree, but I don't know exactly what you mean.
Because, let me look, this might be a poor example,
Yeah.
but you don't understand what's happening levels above you.
Will you ever?
And that's the thing. It's what's better for the greater good.
Okay.
It's not about what you understand. It's about what they understand because they see. I don't want to say the battlefield, but they see the game being played. While you're in the box, they're outside of the box, seeing the game being played.
I see what you're saying, but it's just so vague that you literally never understand what that is. I mean,
And see, that's the problem of being a pawn.
well, so you're saying you understand what's going on behind the scenes?
Look, we gotta end this.
See, yeah, that's what I'm
We gotta
getting.
end this. Look,
no.
I'm not saying I understand what's going on beyond the scenes of where I am right now, but I know for a fact there are some things I will never understand, and that's left to the greater powers that be.
I agree.
Whether the people that inhabit those seats that have access to the powers who are calling the shots, I'm not saying I agree with them, but there are definitely situations and scenarios and events that are happening that I don't have the...
So even at the age of 26, you're saying that there's things that you don't understand that maybe you may want to understand before you go into war.
No. I'm saying that there are some things that are secret.
Yes.
That something should maintain secrecy. That as it trickles down, that the people... It's kind of like the telephone game in a way.
Okay.
Basically, what's happening at the top secret level.
So at that formula, then you'll really never understand what's really going on.
People will never truly understand what's
why
really
say
going
25
on.
Then? Okay. Oh, I don't know.
Because that is where full mental capacity
You're just
really
talking about
starts.
science. Then you're just basing that on science, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So then maybe I don't know. I think I see what you're saying.
Look, I guess we just have to agree to disagree because I don't think we're gonna come to a true agreement here. So
that's a tough one. That's a good question.
Like I said, we're gonna have to come to a part 2 on this. I'm sure that'll come in due time, but at this point, I just don't see us agreeing.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. What the age of voting is.
Please let us know, because at this point, I want to hear who's for my viewpoint, and I want to hear who's for Asael's viewpoint.
Please do. We'll ask our closest fans to see what they think. All right. Well, fellas and gentlemen and women and beautiful human beings.
And everyone in between.
And uglies as well. None of our fans are ugly, though. I'll give you that. That's 100% true.
I know for a fact.
Shawn and I agree on that.
I can agree with that.
If we're going to agree on something tonight, is that none of our fans are ugly. We appreciate y'all tuning in and sticking along. This has been probably our longest episode thus
2
far.
hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, shoot.
Yep.
I was not expecting that. I was timing it, but I didn't get that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're listening to.
Yes.
Y'all are amazing. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for next episode.
If you're joining us with the beer, cheers to you.
Yeah. Or a Capri Sun.
Or Capri Sun, whatever it is.
So we were going to push back an episode that we had talked about last episode about something being spicy. We are still aware of that. We were just pushing it back a couple episodes for some reason. And well, you'll see it very soon, very, very soon. And it's going to be one you're going to tune into for sure. Nevertheless, thank you so much. Happy holidays if you celebrate, and happy week. Good luck. Love you. XOXO.
Yes. Pleb Talk out.